Shadow in the Forgotten Town. In a small, godforsaken town where the streets are covered with a layer of eternal dust and old lanterns barely penetrate through the fog, strange and terrifying events began to occur. The residents spoke of a shadow that appeared at night, a shadow that left behind only silence and death. This story begins with Detective Aana Kowal, who was sent to the town to investigate a series of mysterious murders. Aana was an experienced detective, but what she faced in this place surpassed all her expectations. The first victim was found in an old park, on a bench by a pond. It was a young woman sitting with her eyes closed, as if asleep. But the peaceful look on her face was deceptive. Her heart had long stopped beating. On her wrist was engraved a strange message: "You're next, Aana." With each new victim, the killer left messages that seemed like personal challenges for Aana. He was always one step ahead, and each clue only deepened the mystery. The town was enveloped in fear, and people stopped leaving their homes after sunset. Aana spent the night in the library, studying old newspapers and records. She discovered that many years ago, similar murders had already occurred in this town. All of them were connected to one house on the outskirts of the town, a house that the locals called the Cursed House. The next morning, Aana went to this house. It was old and dilapidated, the windows boarded up, and the door creaked in the wind. Inside the house, she found a room whose walls were covered with strange symbols and old photographs. In the center of the room stood a table on which lay letters written in the same handwriting as the messages on the victims' wrists. The letters were addressed to a certain Maria, and they spoke of revenge and justice. Aana realized that the key to solving the murders lay in these letters and in Maria's story. She began to question the town's elders and learned that many years ago, Maria had been accused of witchcraft and burned at the stake. Since then, her spirit, according to rumors, had cursed the town. With each new discovery, Aana delved deeper into the grim history of the town. She began to feel that the shadow she was chasing was not just a killer, but something greater, connected to Maria's spirit and the old curse. But then something unexpected happened. Aana's contact delivered terrible news from the capital. The shadow had attacked Aana's younger brother. The killer knew how to strike at the most painful spot. He knew her weaknesses. Now Aana was not just investigating murders, she was fighting for her family's life. With each day that Aana spent in the town, the shadow became more insistent and dangerous. She began to see it in her dreams, hear whispers in empty rooms, and feel a cold gaze on her back. But she did not give up. She knew that if she stopped, the killer would win. Aana decided to visit the place where Maria's pyre once stood. There, she found an ancient medallion, which, as it turned out, belonged to Maria. Despite the time it had lain there, it was simply in excellent condition. Inside the medallion was a photograph of a man and a woman who resembled those in the photographs in The Cursed House. Aana realized that they were Maria's parents and that the murders were connected not only to Maria, but also to her family. Returning to town, Aana encountered a man who had been following her. He introduced himself as Ivan, a descendant of the family that once accused Maria of witchcraft. Ivan confessed that his family suffered from Maria's curse and that he knew who was behind the murders. It was a former town priest who had been expelled from the town on suspicions of Satanism. Aana and Ivan joined forces to stop the killer. They devised a plan to lure him into a trap, using Maria's medallion as bait. On the night when the moon was full, they waited for him in the Cursed House. When the killer arrived, he was not surprised to see Aana and Ivan. He held an old dagger, which he claimed belonged to Maria. The struggle was brief, but fierce. In the end, Aana managed to subdue the killer, and he was arrested. The town breathed a sigh of relief, and the shadow that had long held it in fear finally disappeared. Aana realized that sometimes, to defeat the darkness, you must face it head-on. After the killer's arrest, Aana visited him in prison. She wanted to understand what had driven him to commit these terrible acts. He told her about his visions of Maria, who allegedly told him that the death of the innocents would free everyone from the curse. Aana realized that the killer was a victim of his own mind, a story that the town had carried within itself for centuries. On the day the killer was sentenced to life imprisonment, Aana felt that her work there was done. She packed her things and prepared to leave. But before she left, she stopped at Maria's grave. She left the medallion on her grave as a sign of respect and forgiveness, hoping it would help calm the spirits of the past. The town slowly returned to life, but for many of its residents, nothing was the same again. The shadow that had enveloped their homes was gone, but it left scars on their hearts. Aana left, but she knew she would always be part of this town, its history, and its mysteries. She understood that some shadows never fully disappear. They just go into sleep, waiting for a new dawn. And so ends the story of the shadow in the forgotten town, where the past always finds a way to return.